talking today about following our guidance, our internal GPS system that this is the month. March has been the month where we're exploring the different aspects of guidance. And so I want to start out today with let us just focus, which is part of how we stay connected to our guidance. So if you'd be willing, I invite you to, maybe you want to close your eyes, and just connect in with your breath, whether it be in your chest or your belly, tuning into your feet, your tummy, your heart, your voice. These are all places that we receive guidance. They're all part of our guidance system, those places in our body that are connected to our spirit. So I give thanks for this guidance that we all have. Thank you for being here today. You can open your eyes now. So I want to talk about our internal guidance system, our internal GPS. Just like on our phones, we usually have GPSs here. A GPS helps us. It has a signal that guides our way. It sends us toward true north. And just like a GPS on our car, on our phone, we have our internal GPS system that guides us along the way, that goes toward our true north. And if we attune to it, because we're guided toward who we are, what we ask for or desire or want to manifest, our desires, toward our purpose and calling, as well as sometimes we're guided toward healing our trauma, and things come up that may not be sometimes I'm like, trauma coming up, an opportunity to heal. But the quantum field is all around us, all that information. We're swimming in spiritual wisdom in here. Spiritual wisdom is all around us. Divine wisdom. It's in each one of us that we'll get to sing about after this too. It's in every one of us to be wise, to connect into that wisdom that is always connected to consciousness, to energy, to spirit, source, which is one of Unity's principles, one of the first principles, that we are connected to God consciousness. That's who we are, and it's all good. And we co-create with that. And so I want to talk a little bit about how do we experience guidance. And there's probably all different ways that people experience guidance here. It can be loud, like Reverend Kelly said 2 weeks ago, a cosmic 2x4. Or it can be soft, like a light feather that just comes into our heart or into our belly. Or it can pop in quickly, or maybe we're waiting for guidance. Or it can be talking to spirit guide, spirit animal, a mountain, a stream, a tree, God, universe, source. It can be a little niggle about, I don't want to do that. That's not something I need to be doing right now. Or a nudge, nudging us toward our guidance, toward what's on purpose for us. It can be in dreams, getting dreams and coming toward us, and through our bodies, we all have vagus nerve that goes from our belly, where a lot of neurons are. We get information like gut wisdom, comes up our belly, up through our heart to our right brain, and our right brain has more intuitive wisdom in it. It's more connected to that. And we can get guidance through all our senses, our seeing things, our hearing things, smelling things. We can get a feeling in our body, or it can be a knowing. I just know. And so I want to take you to an experience when I was a young woman in my 20s, and I was teaching high school, and I grew up in Ohio, and teaching high school, but I thought, oh, maybe there's something more, and I had the opportunity which I took to go to Baltimore and work with the homeless in the Lutheran Volunteer Corps. And that was a year that I grew up Christianity, but I learned about a lot of different spiritual beliefs and feminist spirituality and Buddhism and all sorts of things, which after that year, which was a beautiful year, I learned a lot. I decided, I want to take a trip out west. I had never been out west, didn't travel a lot as a child. And then I came back to Ohio, and I wondered, what's next for me? And so I said to my friends, I'm going to move out west. And they said, what? What are you going to do? And I said, well, I don't really have a plan per se, but I just feel inside me that that's what I want to do. I want to move out west. It's calling me. And I noticed also, and I'm afraid. But I didn't let that fear stop me. Like sometimes it can, or I don't always follow my intuition. So I packed up my Subaru and came out west, and the first place I ended up going to and living at was Brighton Bush Hot Springs. I know many of you know that. In the 80s, and which is a holistic retreat center, and it is a smorgasbord of transformational experiences, workshops. I learned so much being there on staff and interacting with all these presenters, etc. Meeting people that then I moved a couple years later to Portland and went to massage school and also was in an energy healing program and learned clairvoyance. So that I'm so thankful for that, knowing back in Ohio, you're to move west. And so it put me in the path of being in the healing arts and transformational arts, in that I never went back to what I thought I was going to do, was teach high school for 30 years. But I didn't do that. I maybe took the road less traveled. So that is an example of guidance and knowing. But we don't always follow that. And so I want to talk about what are some of the barriers that get in the way of us being in our guidance, which they can be things like trauma can shut us down, whether it be big traumas or little traumas, or a parent saying, when little Johnny comes to them saying, oh, I know this about Uncle so-and-so, or something like that, and the parents say, oh, no, that's not true, or something like that, where we can shut down, oh, my voice, I can't say those things. Maybe the child sees things or knows things and is full of energy, and so we can shut down our voices. Then we can get beliefs, my voice isn't okay, or I'm not going to get loved if I share my full expression, or I need to shut down, I won't be loved, what I'm wrong about something. So our belief systems can get in the way of our guidance. Not trusting ourselves and knowing our connection to the divine, knowing that we are the divine and goodness comes from that kind of thing. All of us can be distracted. There's so much going on, distracted, so it's harder to pay attention and to be present to what's there for us. We can be in a hurry, so how do we be present? So, given those barriers, how do we cultivate it? So, I think one of the big things is, how do I be more, whether it be through meditation? How do I create some spaciousness in my life where I can hear? Like Reverend Ruth said last week, that gratitude was a great avenue to guidance. So being in appreciation can really help us with our guidance. That we look at our beliefs. I know throughout my life I've been continually looking at what beliefs don't serve me, so I can be this clear channel that can just flow with life and love and presence with people, which is certainly one of my purposes and passions in life. So, and being receptive. I'm not always receptive, being receptive to this. Cultivating by facing discomfort. If we want to go a certain way, but, I don't really want to do that, or this would really change my life, so I don't want to really listen to this kind of thing. I know I've done that in my life. And having intention and focus. And with our purpose, knowing our purpose, as well as how do we harmonize our brain. We know so much today about creating harmony in our brain, being more in our alpha, theta brain waves, and doing practices, whether it be Unity has so many of them, starting with affirmative prayer, which helps harmonize our brain, or sound baths. Or a couple weeks ago, I did toning with deep dive that helped people relax their mind. Or dancing. Dancing, I love to move and be present. It just calms down my brain and I can be more connected to my heart. Or various classes that people teach here, or I have taught also, that can help in quieting things down, harmonizing ourselves, giving ourselves inner peace, so that we can really be present for what's here for us right now, which in these times for me, is just so important. What do I want to do each day? How do I shine my light? How do I be who I am in my essential nature as a divine being? So I want to share 2 experiences from my life. Also, besides the knowing one, is I want to take you to the mid-90s, and I'm at Portland State University going to graduate school in adult learning and training and organizational development. And in those classes, I learned mind mapping, and some of you might know it. I know this will be hard to see, but I still have this mind map that I did, which was very significant in my life, and anybody who wants to see it, mind map is, you can draw it artsy, but it's in the middle, you write what you want, and then all the spokes to it. And I was at the place in my life, in my mid-30s, where I really I was learning more about conscious relationship and consciousness and communication, and I really wanted to create this juicy, conscious relationship. I called it sacred partnership in my life. And so I did that, and I was also playing with manifestation, because our guidance comes from asking what's in our heart that we so want. So I was being very intentional about that. I was also in one of my classes, in one of the quarters, we had a project to do. And so the professor the first day talks about the project and said, I want you to get in groups. And so all of a sudden, I felt like this cosmic push behind me, and I can see the classroom right then. There's about 25 people in this class, and that energy just pushed me to this man, Dan. And I looked up and I said, Dan, can I be in this group, this project group? And he said yes. And so we were doing that project together, and we did that. And then the next quarter, I'm in another class, and not within the class, but at home, I started having all these dreams about Dan. And I was like, wow, what's this all about? And one of the dreams, there was about 6 or 7 in them. I was in a dream group at the time also, so I was writing down my dreams at night and remembering them. And so one of the dreams was, your inner childs are to get together. I was like, well, okay, what does that mean? And so not very far after that, I get a ring on the phone, and it's Dan, and he says, do you want to go to the symphony with me in Portland? And I said yes. And then that was 30 years ago, and we're together to this day. And I showed him my mind map, and he was a little scared about it, I think. but excited. Wow, what a woman he has. And so that's my story of following and guidance just led me to him. And so I'm forever grateful to that. And then I want to tell you about another example of 10 years later. It's about 06, 07. And I am feeling pretty stuck in myself, in my relationship with Dan. I had really maybe given away some of my creativity and passion with our family business. We were working. I was overwhelmed. I had no yum in my life, and I really like yum in my life. And I think I was despairing and desperate to get unstuck. But I wasn't at the time so aware of myself that I could say, I'm really stuck, or maybe I was ashamed of that I didn't like all of what was happening. And so what happened is I had a lot of friends who were into real estate, and they were like making gobs of money, and I thought, wow, that might get me unstuck. Wow, I can be capable, and I can make a bunch of money, and then I can prove myself, and all this kind of stuff. And I wasn't really listening to my intuition when I had the opportunities to give bunches of money from our retirement to my friends and in different real estate activities. And so, long story short, as we know, we went into a recession, and basically we lost all our money that we had put into this, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we were I was in big time devastation, pain, anxiety. I didn't know how I was going to get through it at all. And I thought I was going to lose my house. I thought I was going to lose my husband. And I did lose a dear friend in that process. And that was like a dark night of the soul. But what the important thing here is that so I judged myself. I was like, how could I be so stupid? And etc. My shame was skyrocketing. But this is the opportunity for all of us to come and say, what's the opportunity here? Because there's still guidance, and it's an opportunity for learning about ourselves. And so I did a lot of soul searching. Myself and my husband, we were kind of like dancing with the dragons that were inside of us. We looked at, how did I give away my authority? Him wanting to support me gave his authority away to me, as well as, me thinking, okay, if I make my own money, I'll be as equal to my husband who brought more money into the relationship than I had. I'll be capable. All the things that I had it was just like a big download or a releasing of a lot of stuff for us, which I also needed to learn because shame had, I think, shut down my voice a lot, or I was afraid to be who I was, in a sense, a lot of confusion then, that I then learned to be more authentic, and that, I did this and I had to wrestle with, am I still lovable, and can I love myself within this? And what if nobody loves me because I did this horrible thing? I had a lot of judgment. And so coming through that fire, it did transform my life, I'd say for the better. It also catapulted me back into transformation, healing arts, spiritual arts, where I then went through a program to become ordained, spiritual development, as well as I went through a shamanic energy healing program where I got to release a lot of things that were also from my ancestors that I had pulled into this life that now needed to be released. So this big thing that happened, we came through better, and we learned a lot through it. So the big learning is that, like I said before, that no matter what choices we make or I don't always follow my intuition or guidance, but no matter what happens, if we can take responsibility for what we create so that we can learn from it, we can release, we can heal, we can let go of traumas, we can build a better life that's more in touch with our guidance, in touch with our pure essence. And you maybe all have times like that where you've made decisions that you didn't like. And so I encourage you right in this moment to, if there's something you did that maybe you're still judging yourself by, to just give yourself compassion, because that's such a key to being compassionate towards yourself. That it's all good in a sense. It's all for our wholeness. I want to read one of the unity principles are, I can trust because all unfolding is good and for our wholeness. I can trust because all unfolding is good and for our wholeness. And in the word, some people maybe get, unity has a daily word, and it says, this week there was one on guidance. Guidance is the light that shines through life's darkness, illuminating the way to my highest good. And so in summary, just how do we be present with ourselves? Pay attention to all the what's happening in our body that might be signals for our guidance. How do we release what's in the way? And how do we do practices that harmonize our brain, which there's so many, and I'm sure many people do a lot of them. And then how do we be compassionate for ourselves every step of the way? How do we bring that big love to ourselves, no matter what we do, that they're all lessons for us. We're all just evolving as people. And the world needs us to love ourselves, to be compassionate, to be free. And so I'd like to take us into a guided meditation now. And I invite you, if you want to close your eyes, to deepen into guidance. Take some deep breaths. Just notice your body. Do you have tension anywhere? Take some breath and let yourself relax. If there's any judging, analyzing, maybe just put that aside right now. Focusing on your heart or your gut, where you feel maybe your intuition is and where you get those signals. We pay attention. We have compassion in our heart. We have softness. And we also affirm our spiritual wisdom and guidance is here for us all in every moment. And you can trust that connection. And you can claim your power to know in every moment. So I want to use our imagination right here, which imagination is part of our intuition too. It's in the right brain where intuition is. Our imagination can help us get more connected to that. So imagine yourself poised on the edge of a cliff top, high above the earth. You feel really safe. It's sunny out. You're surrounded by expansiveness of the sky, of space. The view is sweeping. It's so beautiful. Maybe you think of some place you've been to in your life. It's panoramic. You can see crystal clear. You're aware of the vast quiet. There's no traffic noise, no human noise. You maybe hear your breath, as well as the rushing of the wind a bit coming by you. We hear our heartbeat maybe and can feel that inside of you as you breathe. You feel full and spacious, kind of soaring like an eagle. And in this place you can let information just come in that's for you. The messages are for you, to support you. That guidance that's all around us in the quantum field, here and everywhere. Universal energy, creation energy. So just allowing yourself to invite in this consciousness energy that knows maybe what you need right now, that can whisper to you right now. Or maybe that feather I talked about could just come and land in your heart or your lap, that can give you a nudge or give you a little information. And so I just invite you, I'm going to stop talking and allow you 30 seconds or so just to be with yourself and listen to the nudges that might be there for you right now. And as you come back to the group, just knowing you can carry this energy with you into your day and night. And I believe you could get those nudges today, this evening, in a dream. That all this information supports us. We can trust it so that we can flow with our purpose, with our life. We can fulfill our soul's calling. Thank you.